In Seattle, in the winter, the ski report is a very big deal because that's when you decide whether or not you're going to work or you're going skiing. Linda Ann Healy was a very popular young woman because she was on the radio 5 days a week. At 7 o'clock in the morning, she gave the ski report.
In all of my years of studying murder, I've never heard of an abduction quite like the Linda Ann Healy abduction.
I was one of many who listened to her in the morning, and I realized the day that she wasn't on the air that there was something unusual.
She never showed up for work. Bundy used to frequent a bar, Dante's Tavern. On the last night of her life, Linda Ann Healy went to Dante's with another girl and a friend of theirs.
And I will drive by your house.
Bundy probably did follow them home and waited, and he checked the front door, and it was unlocked.
One way or another, I'm gonna find.
This is what makes this abduction so incredibly surreal. He goes down in the basement, enters Healy's room. He's aware that there's another bedroom on the other side. He would tell a writer later that he choked her. He moves her off the bed, he takes her nightie off of her, hangs it up in the closet, and he makes the bed, almost like in a military fashion. And he carries her into the night. He takes her down the front steps, and they're steep steps, to wherever his car's parked and puts her in there.
He would turn the passenger seat around so it was flat. And I asked him why he did that once. He said, well, because that's the way he put his cargo in the car. How's that for disgusting?
It was a strange, strange abduction. The chances he took, it's not just that he went out and committed murder, but he seemed impervious to fear. And from there, the nightmare began. Then Donna Manson. She disappeared from Evergreen State College near Olympia. And then you have the abduction of Susan Rancourt from Central Washington.
Susan Rancourt in Ellensburg was on her way to a meeting to see about being a dorm counselor.
In May of 1974, I was at Oregon State University, and Roberta Kathleen Parks went missing. And in those days, it was reported just as a missing student.
And these young women started disappearing, and people wondered what's going on here. It seemed to be a narrative that was just sort of building in this incremental way.
And then Brenda Ball was abducted near the Flame Tavern. She wasn't a college student. That made it all the more challenging because it adds to the randomness of the victims.
He took his victims from where he could fit in. I mean, he fit in great.
They were in places that Ted Bundy felt comfortable.
This is the psychological factor. You don't think a killer of women is going to be a good-looking, articulate young man. You're not thinking in terms like that.
Georgianne Hawkins was a student at the University of Washington. Georgianne was abducted in June of 1974 on a beautiful, warm summer evening.
She disappeared from an alley one night behind Greek Row. Being a university district, people are walking around at all hours. She went down the alley. There was Bundy.
This is a tape-recorded interview between Bob Keppel and Ted Bundy.
I was moving up the alley using a briefcase and some crutches, and the young woman walked down. I saw her round the north end of the block into the alley and stop for a moment and then keep on walking down the alley toward me. And about halfway down the block, I encountered her and asked her to help me carry the briefcase, which she did, and we walked back up the alley.
Does he look like a killer? Nah. Does he look like an abductor of women? No. He looks like somebody in need. He's got like a leg cast on these crutches. He had placed a crowbar behind the right rear tire.
Basically, when we reached the car, what happened was I knocked her unconscious with the crowbar.
He hit her with such force that she came out of one of her shoes and both her earrings flew off.
There were some handcuffs there, along with the crowbar, and they handcuffed her and put her in the passenger side of the car and drove away.
And drive to a spot that he's already picked out, going to be off of a main highway. He said, sometimes you can check the moon out too, so when it's going to be bright and I don't have to leave my headlights on to see what I'm doing.
You have a physical person here, 1 second, and seconds later, they're gone and nobody has seen anything.
Georgianne Hawkins was last seen Monday evening shortly after midnight. She had been visiting at the Beta House and was returning to her house just a half block away down this alley.
And the speed with which she would have had to have been abducted tells you that probably the person had done this before.
Police say they will return to this alley at night to determine the lighting of the area. Meanwhile, they're asking the girls to stay out of the alleys and travel in groups of 2s or 3s and use only the front doors.
We really could not find anything definitive that tied all the victims together.
Do you suspect foul play in this disappearance?
I think it's too early to suspect any foul play. We just got the case this morning, and it's hard to say whether there's any foul play or not.
The long and short of it was that I, again, knocked her unconscious and strangled her.
Remarkably, considering the circumstances under which these women disappeared, nothing was seen or heard.
There were no real clues. Nobody saw them leave with anyone. No one saw them in an automobile.
Ted loved nighttime because he could be out but not be seen. But then there's the day where he took 2 girls in broad daylight.
And those abductions would come back to bite Bundy. And the very simple reason is people saw him.
Hi everyone, George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.